not only here, and oh, Samantha.
No, Stuart.
I know Stuart. Yeah, yeah, we got a good show. So we'll call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the ARPA Commission on March 6, 2023, 5:30 p.m. And we just went around the room and realized we have a couple of board members missing. One is Sue Cobb and the other is Samantha Hills, but otherwise everyone else is here. Correspondence, I don't have, a few people sent me some updates on their projects, but I didn't, I don't think you guys care about seeing it like all of those, but, and we're gonna go over that. It's all included. If everything everybody sent me is included in section 6 of the agenda. So the next item is approval of minutes, and we have some from February 6th of 2023. Thank you, Mike, for doing those. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Is there a second? Troy, first seconded. All right, any discussion on those minutes? No. All right, so let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? Anyone say no? Okay, so all in favor. All right, we're just gonna move along fast because we do have to get out of here at 6:30, right?
We do have
Okay,
another meeting in here.
yeah.
You do?
So the next item is, we have one item to close, which is ARPA 3, the second ambulance. It was approved back in March for $100,000. They have finished purchasing all the ancillary things to go with it. And there is $3,217.18 to be returned to Fund 19.
I'll move to close ARPA 3 and return $3,217.18 to Fund 19.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion about that one?
I will say there have been several instances in the last couple of weeks where EMS in Willington has been very busy. So to be able, when they are able to staff, to have 2 ambulances be able to answer the call to folks in Willington has been, I think it's been really critical in some instances. So I want to thank them for that work. Both departments can assist in staffing the ambulance if, with volunteers as long as they're trained. So I think it's a vital resource, and I'm happy we were able to do that.
Great. All right, so let's vote. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? All right, so that $3,200 is now not included in your tracker, the most updated one. It's in the orange column, meaning that it was like an expected return. Now I'll move it to red. So basically, just add $3,200 to the red number, and that's where we're at. Updates on the previously funded requests. Though there's quite a few of these things that are very close to being closed, or do not have like an update to go along with them. But I'm just looking to see if there's anything that was like really.
I'm hoping the next time we meet, we'll be able to close the ARPA 13 devices for town staff. The Wi-Fi, the spots we're waiting for to come in, you can see one of them here. They installed the remainder and throughout the rest of the building last week. I'm just waiting for Novus to bill us and then check to make sure the closet downstairs, the refresher that was happening in there is all done. And if so, hopefully our next meeting we'll be able to close that. And I think we're still going to be able to return close to $8,000.
Great. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the only ones where there's like a substantial amount coming back a lot, a few of them are just, like $7 or $10. Which,
Generator, when that
mhm.
finally comes in, right,
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah,
that
it's still
will,
on order, that's
Yeah.
there, still waiting for it.
so let's hope that will be somewhere in the $20,000.
Yeah, so, we might get, if you guys, have the latest tracker, I have to open it on my computer to see it.
I have,
Like where,
it looks like we're still short 30,000 if we were gonna fund everything that was on hold.
yeah,
We'll be at like 28,000 now with the 2,000, 3,000 we just returned. But if those SCBA's and generators return, around the amount we're expecting, those could,
yeah, this could be
put us
covered.
with a little bit of money to
Mhm.
spend, and that's when I think it will really get tricky.
And that's when, and we still have the 50,000 contingency,
Yeah,
so. We're doing good.
I think we're in good shape, and when I look at this list of projects that we've been able to address without Wellington taxpayers, additional burden, pretty tremendous.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah,
undertaking, so.
right. So that brings us to our public hearing part of our meeting, which is, we have one item that we voted to bring to public hearing. So here we are. It's called ARPA 47 Facility Study for $50,000. This project was submitted to the CIP committee by the Board of Selectmen, and then the CIP committee referred it to ARPA with a request to fund it so that we don't need to include it in the CIP plan, so.
Give a little
Yeah,
update.
yeah.
So, the project, started with, town buildings, and we kind of enveloped in the library as well. And it came from determining the needs of the buildings that we have, the schools, the town office building, the senior center, the library, and potentially the fire departments. And match those maintenance wise, structural wise, with the needs and space needs of the town and for our services. So being able to take a look at all of those things, to help give us some real cost estimates for some things to be done, identifying some projects in buildings, like the library, and the senior center. We utilized, a study that was done in a neighboring town, to base the cost off of. And are looking at some of their scope of work, and, we'll, if this is funded, work to tailor that to the needs of Wellington. So this will not only help us with the state of the buildings and the needs, but with a potential school building project that would cease to use center school. It could help identify some needs in there, and maybe point us towards the cost with future use of that building.
Okay. Any questions about that?
So CIP is gonna see it through.
Well, the selectmen will see it. But it's included in the CIP plan with the funding source. Right now, it's showing the funding source is ARPA. And if this commission says no to it, then we'd have to find another funding source for it. Is basically what the CIP committee's role in it would be. But the money's gonna go to the selectmen to see it through.
If I could, I think some of the discussion at CIP, especially with the requests we were seeing and CIP was seeing from the library, it became abundantly clear that those folks were working really hard to address the needs without the knowledge. And we were asking them to go pretty far outside of their lane to do, and that this would help identify those projects and give us a clear path for a CIP plan, whether it be 5, 10, even 15 years down the road. We could see what needed to be done and map all of that out for all of these buildings. But that's really why CIP suggested we look at ARPA for funding, so that we did things in the right time frame, and we didn't put the cart before the horse. And this would give us access, if we were to fund this, this would give us access to the funds sooner than a CIP request would, because the earliest that would be after July 1.
What was the town you referenced?
I didn't say, but I'm looking at Mansfield's, they just had one done.
Do you know what their budget was?
I don't know what their budget was, I know what it came in as, and it was over 100,000, but I believe, I apologize, I don't have those papers in front of me, I think they had 16 buildings. So their scope was larger than ours would be to start with.
And
Yes.
So it must be
He
the
clearly
site
didn't bring a
Joseph.
snack for the whole class. We could hear Troy's crinkling of paper.
Oh. Please make it feel better. Thank you.
any other questions or comments about the project? No? I think the CIP committee will be very happy to hear if we do fund it, because they're just, every year we struggle with understanding all the things about all the buildings, and this will definitely help guide everyone.
So is it the intent to keep some money aside as a result of the infrastructure study, that we could spend some money on that afterwards, or
Money aside in CIP, you mean?
ARPA?
Well, we didn't take
Oh, the-
anything, this is included, right, this is in your tracker, Christina, so this is included in the, I just want to pull the tracker out. Right now, if we were to fund if we said, we couldn't say yes to everything, because we're before the return of money, we're $30,000 short, because we have $50,000 in contingency.
Yeah.
If some of those other projects return money, and we were still able to say yes, we really have to, I think this study would help us say, are the items that, let's say the library, for instance, they've got, do they have anything we haven't done yet? No. It's really, are we doing the right things and in the right order? We don't want to do something in this building, fix this room, and then find out we have to, tear out the floor because the ceiling underneath us needs to be, I just gave you an absurd example, but we don't want to do project B before project A. And so this study will help put those things in line for us. But I don't think there are any other projects pending in ARPA,
You're talking
except
about
the library gutters and downspouts that we could easily say,
right?
yes. What?
You're talking like the $50,000 contingency that ARPA has left over. You're saying would we
Well,
then hold
That
that?
28, I guess there's 28 left over, so, and I know there's some
No,
projects.
we're 28 short.
Or 28.
I'm
short.
sorry, it's
28
short.
short.
But what we were saying is, we're probably going to have at least another 28 that gets returned from when the rest of these close out. So we should have all the funds we need to approve everything, that's left, and then still have 50,000 left over. It seems like is where we're at.
And there are a couple of larger projects on here that we don't, that haven't gotten started yet, right? Like the playground resurfacing, could that come in at 90? Could it come in at less? The library has something they haven't started yet, so could that be a little less? We haven't gotten final numbers because it hasn't gone out to bid for a River Road project, so that could be a savings, that could come in under budget. But I suppose they could all come in over budget too, and then they have to find funding.
Okay,
But no, so the intent wasn't, of the project wasn't to be able to hold funds off to be able to do these things. It was to be able to make sure we had a full picture of what needed to be done in all of our facilities. And then match the needs of the town with those facilities. And that will come into play as the SBC moves forward with their charge. If there's a positive referendum, then it can help speak to what the future use of center school is, or hall school. Like, here's the amount of work that would need to go into these, and here's some hopefully real numbers.
Would this be done for next year's budget season? Like if it,
I think it could be.
so it, yeah.
I think that it's possible, right? So this would give us access to begin putting an RFP out there soon. And so then I would hope that it's something that if we put on the street and got back, they were able to do, and then come back with, some solid report, I would hope by the fall.
Well, the history of this town, as you recall, this has never been done, this infrastructure study.
There have been individual building studies.
Mhm.
There was one done at the Old Town Hall, the fire departments have used them. Where we sometimes fall short is utilizing them.
Yeah,
Makes sense, there's gonna be a lot of recommendations that maybe the town can't afford.
Right. But I think we need to know what they are and be able to make good, sound decisions to some of our greatest assets, besides, our people are our greatest asset, right? And then we've got our roads and our buildings. And if we don't know what we need to maintain them and put some real data behind that, and then, yes, the decisions have to be made by, various boards and commissions and then taxpayers. But this will be important work for us to give them a roadmap. For instance, in Christina's time, there was one done at the Old Town Hall, and that was the map that was used to do some significant repairs there.
So ARPA 40A, ARPA 42, and ARPA 47 are the only things outstanding.
yep,
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
we might have to.
Playground's a big no.
Later,
I think some of these come in under budget
yeah.
to figure out how to, what to put things
We're
towards
gonna have to stop meeting at some point.
at some point. I know there's a couple of people from the public online.
Oh, are there? I know that was Melissa
And Ralph.
and Ralph. Is there anyone from the public who has a question or anything they want to say about this project? I see Ralph and Melissa online. So, no, okay. So with that, I think we can close the public hearing unless anyone has anything. Oh, Phil, did you want to say something? No. Okay. No, okay. Then I think we can close this public hearing. And we can move on to number 6, the funding request submission section. So if we wanted to take some action tonight, everything that's left, these 3 projects, like we just said, the library gutters and downspout for $21,000. ARPA 42 is the playground resurfacing, and then this last one, ARPA 47, is all available for us to take action on. Or we can, the first 2 are tabled, so we could just leave them tabled if we want to, or if somebody wanted to make a motion about them, we could do that too. Any motion?
We even tabled or. So is it
So with 40A, are we still awaiting updated pricing on that?
Yes. I'm not really sure if they were getting like the other style of gutter, if that's what we're waiting for. Now I can't remember.
I didn't think we were waiting. I think we decided to table. I think that was probably the update from before we took action on it.
Yeah,
That's my notes and my recollection.
And the other projects that they didn't think they could get completed within the ARPA scheduling, those were previously removed, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
I think there's some that were voted to be removed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember.
And they have several in CIP, and again, to the facility study, project, it's making sure that the timeline they have them in is the appropriate one, and there isn't something missed that needs to be done.
What's good about their CIP submissions is that basically they have one big project each year, or one medium-sized project, we'll say. So it's not all, all at once, and so that's good. But should the one they have listed for year 3 be done in year 1 or 2, or, just, is it the right sequence? So,
And is it larger than they thought?
yeah, that too, there could be more stuff. And that's true of all the buildings, so.
I don't know if there's any reason to move forward on a 40A or 42 at this point.
Mhm.
The reason they were waiting seems like we're still waiting.
Yeah. And ARPA 47. I don't know if anyone, if you all want to wait until the next meeting to talk to take action on that one.
I mean, I think that maybe it would be at least helpful to me is if we could talk about it. I think we should do this. And I don't see any reason why waiting until another meeting, which I think probably our subsequent discussion point will be, when is the next meeting?
Mhm.
I don't know that it makes any sense to have a meeting until a referendum or, so I don't see why this project should necessarily wait.
Mhm.
I think everything that we do in land use, we're bound to make a 10-year plan, and we have to make our decisions based upon that plan. So I see this as the same thing.
Mhm.
We need to know how to, and I think as we've talked about before, $300,000 projects become $3 million projects. And so whether you're advocating to spend money or whether someone's advocating that money isn't needed, having this plan makes that conversation much easier. I don't see any reason why we personally, I think this is a good
Mhm.
project. So I would vote in favor of spending today.
Is that a motion?
Is that a motion?
Not yet. Because if people are uncomfortable, we don't need to move on it today. So if people thought waiting for some reason was appropriate, then I think that's fine, but.
Well, I think that ARPA 40A shouldn't happen until ARPA 47 is like done.
I agree with you on that one. I think we should do our 47.
Is that a motion?
That's a long runway. We're pushing those projects out a year, and the problem with that is,
Yeah, but the
Right, it
gutters,
depends on how
how long
long
have the
it's
gutters
been
been a problem? I mean,
Well-
this is,
But if we say yes to the library to do this and then come back and, the study, they evaluate before they get the work done, and I think there's some validity to not removing it, but just pushing pause. We have until December of 2024 to commit the funds of 26 to spend them. So if there's still, if this particular project, as they've outlined it, is what comes out of a potential study, then I think it'd be easy for us to justify saying yes and making sure the scope fits the need. I think that's my biggest concern, is making sure that the scope that they've laid out is.
I'm not sure the
encompassing
scope
needs.
of work, evaluating the infrastructure kind is gonna include the gutters on the buildings. I'm just not sure that 50 grand is gonna go that far.
Yeah.
Can you go look at the gutters and all the buildings for us? I don't know.
I guess what I would want to know is if the study identifies some other issue, which we are saying would be solved by replacement of gutters, but actually won't. And I don't know, maybe there's an issue with the pitch of the roof, or maybe there's another problem. I'm not sure, but that would be, I would agree. I don't think they're gonna go so deep down to look at something. I think they're gonna be looking at the structural components of the building, roof, mechanicals.
Roofs are big.
But I don't think they're gonna necessarily talk about that unless there's some significant problem, but there may be some other issue that we would want to know about before we go replace the gutters. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense to wait.
And I do think that, when you write up the RFP for it, asking the people who, you know, are taking care of these buildings, like what are the main problems that you already know about?
Right.
So they probably would look
I
at.
mean, that's
the
information we
gutters.
share with them. Here are the things we have laid out in the plan. And this
Yeah.
is one of them.
Yeah, these are areas of concern. Yeah, that sort of thing.
But they'd be working with, you know, staff here in town to determine the needs, our needs, and that those would be part of the conversation.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be a ways off probably.
Well, if approved, we could begin drafting an RFP and put it out on the street. Now, we wouldn't have to wait months to do that. So I would think potentially by fall, it's something we could begin really discussing in earnest.
Mhm.
And I be kind of generous with the timeframe because we don't know how long it will take.
All right, so did you make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve ARPA 47 facility study for $50,000.
Does anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Mike seconded it?
You said 50,000.
Yeah, that's what it, yeah.
Yeah. Any more discussion about it?
Who seconded?
Mike? Any more discussion? All right, so let's vote. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
I'll abstain.
Okay. So that's us then. So that one's approved. We can move that to a different column. All right, so moving on to present to speak. Anyone have anything to say about anything ARPA related? No? Wow, this is an easy meeting. Okay, well then, I guess we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Should we talk about next meeting?
Oh, yeah, next meeting. Next meeting, before we do that, next meeting. So normally our regular meetings are the first and the third Monday at 1:30 in the afternoon. I don't think we need a meeting in 2 weeks. I don't even know if we need a meeting the first Monday in April. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Just to see where we're at. We might have some projects to close by then.
I mean, should we? I mean, I was thinking we could push it to the 2nd in April, and if you hear from somebody, something's more pressing, we could always schedule a special for the 1st.
Mhm.
I don't know, is there with budget season and everything else, if there's a lot of other meetings going on? It's just
Yeah.
easier to wait till that's done.
Yeah, so in April, we have
Budget hearing on the 4th.
yeah,
Annual town meeting on the 18th.
and this doesn't really affect that. So,
I just mean your personal schedules.
oh, yeah. This past month is a bad one. Or this month,
Well, if we schedule for the 3rd and we give ourselves once a month, you know, unless we find that we need something.
mhm. Yeah, go back, just
Okay,
move, so 1:30 on March 3rd, no, sorry,
April 3rd.
April 3rd.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll send out an agenda to cancel the other meeting that's supposed to be in 2 weeks. And we'll take it from there. All right, awesome.
So it'll be Monday, April 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah, at 1:30. Cool. All right, so now I think we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Anyone second? Okay, Erica seconded. All in favor? Aye. All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.